Oh,
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us with Real Cadena.
what's going on, guys? What's going on, Dave?
All right. So today, just a quick intro for Real. He's going to be talking about how you can do IPS without overwhelming your clients with Money Talk. We've sent out some promotional materials about Real. I'm not going to go through a lot of that, but let me just speak to it a little bit, and I'm going to kind of come back with just a few comments about Real as a person and where I think he's going to be very helpful for you guys today. You've seen that Real's been an educator. He's one that loves to pay it forward and give back to others. He was part of B&H's featured photographers. He's represented and spoke at places such as the Cadena Experience in California, the Fundy Inspiration Workshop, to inspire Disney fine art photographers at Disney World, WPPI, Shutterfest, Photo Plus New York, ClickCon. It's also associated with Westcott Lighting, Canon USA, Graphic Studios.
I have to read all of that. You're getting crazy. You're getting crazy. You don't want to hear all that.
All right. So
you want to learn how to make some money.
He wants to say he is legit.
Yeah. He's got the credentials, no question.
Yeah, honestly, guys, like at the end of the day, yes, we are successful in some way or another. At the end of the day, we're here to make money and to grow as a business, and not only as a business, but also as a community. So
yeah,
I want this to be really more of a communication webinar than anything else. So I'm open-minded to learning from you guys as well. And I'm gonna tell you exactly how I make money and how I get additional business after a wedding or corporate shoots and so on and so on. And also how to just take some time to go on vacation, which I was telling Michelle and Dave before. So yeah.
So before I turn it over to Real, the last thing I'll say is one thing we really love about Real is that he is really about authentic relationship. And that maybe sound like a very simple, trivial phrase, but I think you're going to find out through this webinar that is really the heart of who Real is. And we'll have some of our webinars speakers who will be very formal and with a very formal presentation, and that's just not Real. He really is authentic, and it is about relationship. So this is going to be a very interactive webinar, and I'm going to turn my camera off and sit back and listen to Real. I think you're really going to enjoy some of the real life, down-to-earth advice and stories that Real's going to share with you. So Real, take it away.
Yeah, no pressure, guys, right? No pressure. So guys, I'm Will Cadena. I'm based out of New York City. I've been in business for a little bit close to maybe full-time, about 16 years. In the business overall, about 23, 24 years. Yes, I look young. I'm 36. I started when I was about 12 to 13 years old through a family business. I had two uncles. One's a wedding and portrait photographer out of New York City. And I had another uncle who's a commercial fashion photographer based out of New York. He got burnt out. He moved down to South America, and he ended up building an empire. So I'm not sure if some of you guys took the time to look at some of my work. Majority of the work that you'll see either on our website, which is very outdated. Don't judge me. Be updating in the next 2 weeks. It should be new. A lot of stuff is all in camera. A little bit over my history as well. I was telling Dave and Michelle that I'm not really a speaker. I don't consider myself an educator. I like to share what the experiences I went through in my life, and also the mistakes, and also the success in my industry and how I got where I am today with my teammates and my business. So from kindergarten to college, I was a special ed. I have a reading disability, learning disability. But one thing for me is if I could see an image and how it was done, I memorize it in a heartbeat. And I found out later on, one of the things that I started finding out that I was a little bit more talented, which I started hearing from other people, was that I really build connections. One of the biggest things for me is building a connection with someone, whether it's a person, whether I'm in an Uber, or whether I'm at a restaurant, or whether I'm with my clients. So today I'm going to go over some of the stuff with you guys is actually what I do. So we're going to use, I do anywhere between social events. So it could be corporate events, could be weddings, it could be corporate headshots, it could be commercial campaign shoots for clothing lines. So that's another reason why I travel a lot, not only domestically, but also internationally. And I'm going to kind of show you how I do that and how I get some of those clients. But at the end of the day, as Dave said before, it's about building relationships. I think these days we all are stuck on getting the the fanciest lens or camera equipment. Guilty. I used to do it. Do I still kind of do it? Yes, sometimes. But these days I'm trying to be as compact as possible. And for me, what really makes the money, it's treating my clients like gold. It's giving them a great experience. I want you guys to be really interactive in this conversation. If there's a question, just ask away. As long as you could take 1 or 2 things from this webinar and apply it to your workflow, I'm happy with that. Again, there's always something to learn. It doesn't mean that I know it all. I really don't know it all. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly going to workshops. When I have some downtime, I assist my colleagues in the industry. Like I'll go hold the light or I'll go assist the commercial photographer to see what's out there and what they're doing and what is their business tactic. So again, there's always something to learn. So let's actually start. Is everyone here already? Can you guys throw out what cities you guys are coming from? So at least have an idea. And tell me quickly if you're a wedding photographer, corporate photographer, something. Just start typing it in. There you go. Bay Area, Kelly, Michelle. Of course I know Michelle. What's up, Tim? Oh my God, we got Rick, Phoenix, San Diego, Seattle. Seattle, I'll be there in March. It looks like they're planning something for Westcott. I'll be speaking for Westcott in Seattle, so stay in touch with that. We'd love to meet you there. Puerto Rico, very nice. Dope, dope, dope. I like Ryan. I like how you said dope. Cool boudoir, perfect. Boudoir headshots, perfect. We're talking about that. Boudoir headshots, branding, Buffalo, New York. Cool, 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 cool. All right, cool. So quick thing, real quick. What is the hardest part? I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. If you could change one thing about your business in 1 word, or maybe 2 words, place it on there. Put it right in there real quick. Real quick, real quick. Dave, I know Dave. I heard of Dave. Yeah, okay. Automation, yes. Automation, perfect. More sales, yes. That's a must. We got to make money. All right, another question is, how many of you guys are full-time photographers? Do more IPS, okay. Inspire, okay. Okay, good. Full-time, perfect. I like it, digging it full-time, perfect. Part-time, okay, cool. The reason why I'm asking this question is because I want to know exactly where we are in general, because obviously I'm speaking to a wide group of people. So there's going to be some stuff that might be a little bit basic to certain people, and certain things are going to be like, wow, this is really cool, I can apply it. All right, so moving forward, full-time. Great thing, obviously I stated before, I've been doing this full-time for many years. I got burned out in my business about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. And I was like, it became so repetitive, boring. I felt there was no connections. We were constantly getting emails from clients, like they were just, excuse the language, but they were just pissing me off. And it wasn't even them. It was, we weren't being really transparent. We weren't really giving them the right information. So this is why they were asking so many questions. Just like what Michael Anthony spoke about, Isaac, by the way, interview, thank you so much for having me on here. I think it's awesome that you guys are giving like a free program. So guys, appreciate that because it's very rare to get this kind of stuff like that. So they kind of, with them, they have a certain format. For my format is, never stop learning. And when I was burnt out, I was looking for different mentors out there to inspire me. So one of the mentors for me was Steve Ciparito. And for him, he actually helped me understand what I was doing wrong. Sometimes you gotta look yourself in the mirror and be like, wow, you know what? It's not really my client. They just don't know any better. They just like anything else, no different from you guys. If you want to learn about lighting, it's the same thing. So where we're gonna use this as an example. Dave, Michelle, I'm gonna share my notes with them real quick. So guys, this is just a quick outline of it. I did something really quick. A little bit more on my format, okay? Let me know if you guys can see this, because I can't really see it on my end. So the first thing I usually do for an inquirer, so we're gonna be treating this as a wedding consultation. This you can apply towards everything, corporate, commercial, boudoir, it doesn't matter what it is. It's the same idea. The only difference is I'm using this as a wedding. The reason why I'm using this as a wedding, because a wedding is, you can use it as a product shoot, a portrait session, a commercial session with the dress. All right. It's also a marketing brand part of it. So all this stuff I do, the next speaking event I have is at WPI, and I'll be going over all this and exactly how I shoot it. So when a client usually inquires on an email, all right, let me go switch back. How do you switch back in here? All right, switch back. So, okay. All right, fine. So as soon as someone emails us, the first thing we do is we do a discovery call. We want to set up a discovery call. So a discovery call is exactly what it says on there. We take anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes of their time, and we want to get to know the clients. All right. And we always make sure we want to speak not only to the bride, but also to the groom while they're on the phone. And we make sure it's clear, like, yes, Brenda, we would love to speak to you, but we also want to speak to your fiance, Jim, or Dave, or whatever it is, to be on the phone. And the reason why, because personally, we don't want to go back and forth later on, because just like anything else, people like to play telephone. You mention a story to one person, and next it slowly starts changing and changing and changing when it gets to the next person. So I want to understand their vision and how I can help them capture their story. And most importantly, it's not just the bride and groom's day, it's also the family's day. So I want to get to know who's special in their lives. So whether it's a mom, dad, their brothers, the siblings, best man, maid of honor, doesn't matter. There's a reason why they get married today. Just like anything else in life. You could be in a relationship, you could have your downs and your ups, but I'm sure you're going to speak to someone that helped you, guide you in order to be in that relationship or into that certain circle. So for me, it's important to find out who they are, because it's a very important part of their lives. So the next thing after that is, scrolling down, all right. So back to the email. So again, as I stated, I want to speak to them both. So there will be the discovery call, all right. After that, we get on a call. The most important thing, as you guys can see over here, is listen. I notice a lot of photographers don't like to listen. I think it's just in our nature, and I used to be like that, very much so. Let's switch back. Let me switch back. Sorry, guys, I'm still new to this thing over here. Stop sharing. Yeah, all right, cool. So I think one of the biggest things is photographers don't like to listen, right? And I see it a lot in conferences. I see it a lot in workshops. I'm in part of a few different groups. What I recommend is downloading a software on your phone, which is called Record Telephone, record conversation, record something while you're on the phone with a client. From there, you'll start listening to yourself after the conversation and see, hey, you know what? These are certain trigger points that I missed what the client said. So this will actually help you, like, wow, I wasn't paying attention. All I was trying to do is sell, sell, sell. By you doing that, sometimes you tend to turn the client away. So going back, sharing again. Let me know if this is making sense to you guys, all right? Slow me down a little bit. New York City, so I'm a little bit quick. All right, so going back to this, tab, okay. All right, so after this, within, let me open this up. All right, so after that, I usually ask them where did it, let's see, this thing is not moving, okay. All right, so the first thing I want to know is get to know how they met. By the way, guys, forgive about the grammar and the writing. As I stated before, I was a little special, and I'm still special to this day, but so find out exactly what is the reason how they got together. Where did they actually meet? All right, talk about that. Don't talk about anything about pricing. So my format is getting to really know the client. All right. So this is the chance to really get to know who they are as an individual. All right, as an individual. Then from there, like for example, let's make believe Dave and Michelle are married, right? Right, Dave and Michelle? Are you guys out there? Okay. So for example, I'll get to know, there you go, Michelle. So I'll ask Michelle, it's like, where you're originally from, obviously the typical norm, like anything else. Obviously ask the same thing about Dave. Now you'll ask exactly, how'd you guys meet, really quickly. Then start talking about a little bit more, intimate. You want to start peeling the onion. I'm sure you guys had like a blossom before at, I don't know, some fast food restaurant that every time when you peel the onion, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So the most important thing for me, all right, is to ask, to describe who they are to themselves. So for example, I'll ask Michelle, describe me in 3 words. Why did you fall in love with Dave?
Why did I fall in love with Dave?
Yeah, why'd you fall in love with Dave?
Oh, man. Okay. Well, I don't know that I'm
You know what, better yet,
with
you
him,
know what,
but
Michelle, bring me back to the moment when you knew that you're like, wow, you know what? I want to be part of this team. I want to be part of Enview.
okay. I like that. Well, first of all, Dave was very selfless and asked about me and asked me what things were important to me before anything. So instead of talking about himself, so he said, "Look, he informed me that he was a coach." So I said, "Oh, okay, I can relate to coaches, being an athlete myself." And I thought, I want to be a part of something that's bigger and that's growing and developing. And he said, "Good, because you're in the right place. I don't know where this is going, but I said, "Well, perfect." But Dave was very authentic and genuine, and wasn't there to micromanage, and so allows us all to have the freedom to learn and to run with our strengths. And so that's what I like a lot about Dave. So,
Dave, have you heard this before? Actually, was specific about that?
Maybe not that specific.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that? Why wasn't it that specific?
Probably because I never asked that question of her before, or never heard it asked of her before.
All right, so time out, guys. You see how we kind of dug into it a little bit? Like, he never heard that. They work together all the time. But it's just kind of like you're tweaking it. You're asking the right questions. You could ask a simple question. Oh, what color are the dresses? What color, the bridesmaids and the flowers? But now is actually taking the time. And Michelle, going back to you, you actually took the time to really think about it. Am I is that correct or not? You actually took the time to realize, like, wow.
yeah, I 3 words is very difficult for me, but I can definitely give you the explanation as to why. So.
Yeah. So the reason why 3 words, now they're slowing down. So now they're taking the time in 3 words. Mike, what are those 3 words? So you want to slow down the client because they go into all these, I'm sure they're seeing 2 or 3 or 6 or 10 or 20,000 different photographers or studios, and everyone's asking the same exact thing. So how can you separate yourself from everyone else? There's a lot of psychology that goes into it, but also you really just want to have integrity, and you really want to get to know exactly who you're working with. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I do this is for a few reasons. One, I really don't want to have a pain in the ass client. Okay, just being transparent with you guys. We all have that in some way or another. So I want to reduce that. It's no different from being in a relationship. I'm married. I love my wife. Did I have other relationships in the past? Yes. Why didn't it work? Looking back at it now, it didn't work for many different reasons. But I found certain reasons why I wanted to be with her. So it's the same exact thing. It's a working relationship. And I tell my clients, I want to make sure we're the right fit for each other. I don't want to promise the world to you. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to execute your vision. And what happens when you don't execute the vision? They're not happy. So asking those little questions here and there will help you so much. All right. You guys kind of get a little bit? All right. Hopefully, people are like saying, they're like, what's going on over here? What's psychology? I want to make money. We're getting to the money part. I promise. We're getting to the money part. All right. So hold on. All right. Let's go back. So let me share this again. I'm sure this is a lot easier. I think I'm making it complicated. Right, Michelle? Yes. All right. Going back. All right. So scrolling down again. I think that'll be. So, for example, E, the reason why you fell in love with them, or that's asking that question. Bringing it, you want to bring it back to that moment in time. So, for example, I don't know. Let's say, Brenda, you were on the Eiffel Tower and you guys were hanging out for the first time, and you just having such a great time. Elaborate on that. What was he wearing? Where were you exactly at that time and moment? Be very specific, because now they're taking the time to think about that moment. All right, so bring it back to that moment. So G, their family members, going back to it, taking the time to understand who's really involved in their day. Like I said before, everyone plays a part in some way or another. So me finding out their family members, their parents, guardians, siblings, who's important to them. Are they going to be the best man and maid of honor? During this process, I tell them I want to get to know. I would like to, take the time and give them a call and speak to them as well. I know some people are like, why would you want to take the time and do that? That's showing the client like, wow, you actually care. Like you really want to take the time and get to know our family members. And that's like another flag up in the air for your clients to be like, wow, they're actually taking the time. So no matter what the case is, even asking them, you know, there's always going to be that couple that states, you know, describe 3 words, you know, that, you know, who is Dave? They're like, oh, well, he's a jerk sometimes. Okay. Tell me something positive about him. What do you love? So reinforce that with positive energy. All right. Most important, everyone's always going to go into some kind of negative. And realistically, in this world that we live in, everyone wants to find a reason to speak negative. So you always want to bring out the positive. Scrolling down a little bit more. All right. So after all this, you're building the rapport from the clients in some way. All right. So let me go back. Get out of here for a second. Michelle, let me know if there's anyone asking questions because I can't really see it on my end. Okay. Hey guys, if you guys have any questions regarding this, let me know. Okay.
All right. Good so far.
All right. Cool. Everyone. All right. Cool. All right. So after the conversation is over, you hang up the phone with them. So what do? Move on to the next client, or you take at least a few minutes to really digest in what was spoken about. So the first thing I usually do is once I get off the phone, and I just sit there, I'll start typing out some notes. I usually don't recommend typing out notes while you speak to clients. The reason why, you could tell when someone's, have you ever sat with someone, let's say on the phone, you know they're not 100% present because it feels like they're doing something? It's the same exact thing. Your clients will know when you're doing that. So unless you're like a really good note taker, you know, that's one thing. But majority of the time, your client will find out if you're in the moment. And when you're not in the moment, you sound very awkward. All right. So what I recommend is take the time after, write down important notes. You know, what was important to them. You know, if there was a certain scene or certain shot that they really wanted, or there's a certain photograph they want us to capture. Like let's say the father walking into the room, seeing her for the first time, or there was a certain pendant that her grandmother gave her. So these are little things that are important, and they might say, but now when you meet with them later on, if you bring it up again, they're gonna be like, wow, he actually took the time to remember that. You wrote, you know, so that's a key factor. So another thing is, what kind of person were they? So there's always an alpha, there's always a peacock. So a peacock and an alpha is kind of considered a person that's constantly out there. Is constantly the one speaking. They're constantly the one likes to stand out from the rest. Usually at the time that 2 alpha persons are very rarely are together. And this is understanding a little bit more psychology behind it. So, and there's the alpha and there's someone's a little bit like considered as a dove. A dove is kind of like laid back, low key. They always want to please other people. They always want to make sure the alpha is happy in some way or another. So understanding who you're working with plays a very big part. So when you guys get a chance, take the time to do a little research on personalities, because that will help you a lot more, because you know for a fact who to really kiss butt cheeks to, or who to really make happy besides the obvious. All right. So I'm considered more as a peacock. I'm the kind of person that likes to stand out, I like to have a good time. I love to dance. I love to have a fancy ride. I love to be out there. But I'm also a person that likes to give back, and I like to make people feel good. Same thing with my wife, but my wife is not a peacock. She's not a person that likes to be out there. She likes to be more reserved. So understanding all these characteristics will help you sell as well. All right. So after all this, after getting to know a little bit about them and also a little bit about the day on the phone, you want to customize like a collection package for them. Or I like to say collections, not packages, because packages you cannot add anything more to it. So the reason why we're doing this is because now when you meet with them in person, you already have something ready to go, because you want to give them a price right then and there. There's no, oh, I'll send you an email later on, or because now you're giving them time to decide what they want to do. Scrolling down. All right, so past that, we already spoke about that. All right, most important thing, being friendly when you meet with them in person. Let's stop the sharing for a second. All right, how many of you guys have a studio and how many of you guys don't? How many of you guys meet people at a coffee shop? How many people meet, doesn't matter. Just put it right down there. I'm curious. Studio, awesome. Studio, cool. All right. Oh, home, cool. I like home. No studio, okay. Zoom calls are good. I'm gonna get into Zoom calls too. All right, cool. So guys, I do have a studio. Now ask me how many times I'm at the studio. That's a different question. I'm rarely at the studio these days. I'm hopefully in the next few months, my goal is to be more in the studio. Majority of the clients I see, it's either at their estates, like their fancy home, or at their corporate offices, or I'll purposely get on a flight to go meet with them to wherever it is, whether it's Texas, Cali, it could be in Miami. You know, I have clients everywhere, so I could use it as an excuse and say, hey, listen, I'm gonna come down and meet with you guys, depending how the discovery call went. That's the most important thing. I know, it sounds crazy. Why am I gonna spend $200 to $500 on a flight? Every clientele is different. We're talking about in general, okay? So if I know it's worth the investment, I'll take the time to do so. All right? I'm very fortunate enough that I could fly down to Miami and still do a family session or a commercial shoot or whatever it is, because I have clients down there. So it's another reason for me to go down. All right. So most important thing is having the products. How many of you guys actually have, besides the studio people, because it's obvious, for the people that don't have a studio, if you don't have studio samples, it's a must. As Michael Anthony stated and Isaac, you know, they give discounts, all these companies give great discounts for samples, so it's important to get some. Recommend it. It's no different from you jumping into, you know, you're not gonna buy a car if you haven't tested it out. You're not gonna buy a wedding band to your fiance if you haven't seen it in person. It's very unlikely, unless you feel it, you know, you get to touch it, it's a different story. So having samples is really, really important, no matter what the case is. Spend the money, honestly, it's an investment. You're gonna make that money back times whatever, 100, all right? So yes, Russell, yes, you need samples, yes, exactly. So anyone that meets in coffee shops, is there anything wrong with that? It's all personal taste. Do I meet with clients once in a blue at a coffee shop? Yes. I make sure I find any kind of coffee shop that's quiet. The only time I do that is if a client's dying to see me, dying to meet me personally in person, I'll do that. But it's very rare if I do that. But if I do, it has to be in a quiet location. Just like myself, I'm like a dog. I see a squirrel and I get distracted. The same thing, if a client gets distracted, you start losing the focus, and from there, you start losing the attention span of selling, all right? We don't have a studio, we still have a bunch of samples that we bring. Awesome, Chad and Megan, that's what's up, that's what I'm talking about, all right? All right, so let me go back to what I was saying before, so you guys can still see me. I think we're good. Okay, so the first things first is when you meet with the client in person, I'm just gonna elaborate exactly what I do. I really don't have to read it off of notes. So with the client, you know, again, before you even show anything, obviously they're gonna walk into the studio and like, wow, you know, be impressive. Exactly how you bring them into the studio will play a very big part. Let me stand up. Guys, I'm at my apartment right now. My wifey's sick, so I'm taking care of her. So when the client comes into the studio, the client comes into the studio, you never wanna have your back towards the wall. That's the last thing you want. You wanna actually turn your body towards the wall and just talking to them. Because now you should visually showing them where they look. And now you're not really selling to them, but you're just showing, hey, this is, thank you to my studio, by the way, that's my wife. Oh, that's where the venue where we shot your future venue is gonna be. So depending on your body structure and how you say things will play a very, very big part. And again, it's all psychology. Again, this is coming from a guy that was a special ed, rode on the cheese bus. The small little mini cheese bus. So taking the time to learn that plays a very big part. All right, so after I do that, we sit down, we actually elaborate a little bit more about how's the wedding plans coming along, talking about, you know, their mother, like anything else, there's always gonna be that one person that's driving them crazy. So, okay, that's great. And she's driving you crazy, I'm like, but isn't it awesome that she's excited that she wants to be part of this with you? And they'll be like, yeah, it makes sense. So reinforcing the positive energy with that will play a very, very big part. After that, after you get to know a little bit more about them, and you know, I literally, if it's let's say it's a 45-minute, you know, discovery meeting in person, I say maybe for that 5 minutes from that, we're showing pricing and maybe some products. Everything else is all talking. Okay. Any questions regarding that? I think it's really straightforward, right? Okay. All right. Back into. I lost something. Okay. So I lost it. Where is it? Okay, let me share the thing again. Share. Tab. Okay. All right, so once we do that, so usually that's the format and what we usually do. All right, so the most important thing, every collection that you go over with them, you have to show them, you have to let them touch it. All right, when it comes to females in general, okay, females love to touch, they love to feel. All right, it's just the norm. That's how it is. All right, if you don't believe me, ask when, do a test run with your sisters, your wife, your mistress, whoever it is. I don't care what it is. Do your own test. When you do that, you get to learn so much more. All right, so every collection I let them touch, I show them exactly what they're receiving. Even if it goes into a different collection, it's the same idea. So let them touch, let them feel. Slow down. Exactly how fast I'm speaking with you is too fast. So I want to slow it down. So everything I show them, I want to like showcase exactly what I'm gonna. You know what? How about I do this? Stop sharing for a second. Give me 1 second, guys. 20 seconds. Do a potty break. Something quick. I'm gonna show you real quick. Okay, guys. This is definitely not one of the typical webinars, huh? All right. So this is what I actually have at the house. Stuff is a little bit old. So anything that you actually show a client, you really want to showcase it. So I always want to showcase a client. So I always have different samples. All right, samples. So I have, this is actually 11. I'm sorry. So this is actually an 8x12 album here inside. All right, and the other one bigger is it's a 13 by 9.5. So showing the different sizes will play a very, very big part in it. Showing, customizing things to make people go, wow, plays a very big part. Obvious design. So for this is actually a Sweet 16 that we shot a couple years ago, but I wanted to showcase it. And I photographed, this is the second daughter that we photographed. So I told the mother, do me a favor, can you send me a note? I want to do something special for you guys. So I superimposed a note in her presentation casing. So how can this not be like, wow? So it's taking the time to impress them. So impressing client plays a very big part. Showing them the quality behind what we do, okay? When you open in the book, it has to be, when you're showing them the album, go step by step with them and the reason why behind everything. Because if they're just flipping through the pages, they just really don't understand. So for example, over here, I wish I was taller. So this is a book. So talk about why you did the certain spreads, why the certain details. What was the most important thing for her? Was capturing that moment for her. She wanted traditional. I don't know if you can see it exactly. So for her, that was really important is capturing that reaction shot of the mom. For the dad. And I was like, okay, great, but how often do you capture the reaction shot of the mom? So we did that as well. So it's not always about the father, but it's also about the mother. So capturing that first time seeing them in that way will play a really big part. And you elaborate that, telling your client that, they will appreciate that so much more. Yes, you get your traditional shots, you get your candid shots. They come from a very traditional background. And most importantly, I tell my clients, all the samples that you're seeing are in camera. They're not retouch or Photoshop. Again, that's more my style because I don't like to retouch my photographs. All right, same idea here. This is where he grew up in this home. He used to pray every morning in his bedroom. So we wanted to capture that. So we set up the shot. So everything has to have a meaning when we shoot things. So explaining that to our client plays a very big part. All right. You guys have any questions regarding that? Okay. All right. So understand those little details will play a big part because now the clients say like, wow, this guy, excuse the language, this guy actually gives a shit. Like it's all about taking the time to care. All right. I think these days we just forget about, yes, we have to make money. I get it. Trust me. I'll elaborate more on that when I literally had it all, lost it all, and had it again. So it's taking the time to care will play a big part because if you care, if you treat your clients like gold, they're going to treat you like gold. All right. They're going to reward you with money. All right. So going back to that, I'm sweating because that casing is heavy. I got to work out. Anyway, so another thing is getting to know the client's parents plays a very big part. Majority of studios I know for a fact that I used to do it, guilty of it, but we used to give them as clones. Worst thing you could do is that, and the reason why is, don't you, and sometimes the client will be like, you know what, I just want a clone, it's not a big deal. You don't think your parents deserve their own custom book? And just sit there quietly and let them answer. No, but really? I'm like, how about, can I give them a call? Because you know what, how about we just work on something for you and we can work on something for your parents? And 9 out of 10 times, they're like, okay, that's fine. 9 out of 10 times when we do that after the wedding, the parents actually spend a lot more than the kids. Guaranteed. Because how can they not want their own custom-made book? So if you're not doing that, do it, because the money you'll be making in return is crazy. Again, every city is different, every state, every country. You could, depending on your range, what to charge, that's really your call. I do the same exact thing with family sessions. I do the same thing with stuff with boudoir, sexy empowering shoes. It's the same idea. The only difference is we're talking about weddings. So, all right, so now moving forward. Anything doesn't work. Okay, so, so let me share this with you guys again. Sharing. Okay. I think I'm, okay, I'm fine. All right, so going back to this. So 9 out of 10 times, the parents always upgrade no matter what the case is. So that's the goal, all right? So after that, let's slide this over, make this a little bigger. All right, so fast forward, after booking, all right? Excuse the grammar, okay. After booking, let's say they do book, all right? Usually I give my clients about 24 hours to book. I'm not the kind of studio that I make them book right then and there. For my clientele, I usually give them 24 to 48 hours max. And the reason why I do that, I really want them to take the time to consider us. As I told them, we're choosing to be part of the event and vice versa. So I want to let them know, hey, this is a partnership, okay? Some studios might have the luxury of doing that and some certain studios don't, but how we changed our format in the last 2.5 years, this is what I've been doing. It's been working for us. So following up with clients after the wedding. This is the most important thing you want to do is follow up, all right? So I gotta be a faster way of doing this. How many of you guys actually follow up with your clients after the booking? And I'm not saying in an email, sending a booking or sending a blog, this is what we're doing. Do you guys actually take the time to call your clients? Do you call parents, include them in the sale? Yes, Emily, I do call the parents, include them in the sale. It's a must. I personally feel it's an important thing, but it's a different session for them. Exactly what I do with the bride and groom, I do with the parents. I know it's crazy, right? But thinking about it this way, let's just say, we're just throwing numbers out there, okay? I'm in New York City. It's different kind of pricing range. It might not be. Let's say a client spends about, let's say $10,000 on their wedding collection, okay, just on photography. The client, the bride and groom doesn't really know what the mom and dad really want. So I'm like, okay, great. Let me take the time to get to know what they want. I'll give them a call. I'll do a Zoom call, or I'll go out and see them. This is pretty much when it's almost like a done booking, or they're already booked. Then I'll create a collection just for their parents, and I'll tell them, listen, this is what your daughter did for you. It's up to you. I mean, these are the options, and I create like a certain collection for them. And it gives, so it's already in their head. I'm like, okay, we could upgrade this later on. So you're planting the seed in some way or another. So Larry, good thing you call. Russell, awesome you call. Awesome. We do personalized gifts. Awesome, Chad, Megan. Look, and you're doing it, what? You meet in my coffee shops? Look at you guys. You guys are killing it. The fact is that you give something a personalized gift goes so much. Have you guys ever shopped at a luxury store and sometimes you get something in the mail, like a little gift, say thank you for coming in, a little card, here's a little something. That makes you feel good inside. So I try to treat it as the same exact way. When you guys get a chance, go to the mall, go to like a luxury place. I'm trying to think, like, go to Tiffany's. Or if you have a Tiffany's near you, I don't know, depending where you are exactly, or a Louis Vuitton store. See how they treat you, see what they do for you, see how, the certain thank yous they send in the mail. That makes you feel complete, it makes you feel special. So we do the same thing with our clients. We have a personalized box with the name, with the date, the year date, when they're getting married with the names on it, the future Mr. and Mrs. You know, when they receive that with a bottle of wine, and I step it up a little bit, I get the bottle of wine where my wife and I got married, and there's a little note. I'm like, you know, we were thinking about you guys. We were at the winery. We got you a little bottle. This is where we got married, and this is actually our wedding wine that we had. So it's taking, you know, giving those little touches in there plays a part. But again, you got to generally mean it. You know, I just want my clients to, you know, treat them like family. See what Russell said. Do separate meet parents or sometime in the bride again. Do a separate meet with parents, and I sometimes do meet with the parents separately in person if they're close by within New York City area. Emily, do you make people only place their order at meetings, or can they order after meetings? When you say place their order after meetings, what do you mean by that? Place their orders. Can they order prints after the meeting? Oh, absolutely. You can always order prints after the meeting. So, all right. So we were talking about after the booking. So after the booking, I'll give them a call within a week or two after the wedding, and after the booking. I'm like, listen, you know, I would love to meet with you and the family in person. You know, what days work the best with you guys? What we could do is order in if you guys want over your home. And they love that. They're like, really? You want to take the time to do that? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And I already let them know that beforehand, so they already got excited about it. So now we meet everyone at their home. It could be just her side, or it could be his side, or it could be both. It all depends. But sometimes when you have that group of people, it's harder to get. Now the other question is like, but what about their divorce? What do you do in that situation? Same idea. The only difference is you want to get to know exactly who they are. Maybe they're not that close to the family member. So maybe you don't want to do a meeting, maybe just a phone call or Zoom call. The problem I'm getting is so Emily's asking a question. The problem that I'm getting is when I sit down and they say, well, just order at later date, and then I'm wasting my time with the order appointment because they want to order. Okay. Is this for a wedding or is this for a portrait session? Wedding. Okay, perfect. Don't worry about the ordering. They already booked into their collection, whatever it is. I usually tell clients, it doesn't matter if you get the basic or the most elaborate collection. We still shoot the same. The only difference is you're going to be spending a lot more money at the end of the day because you're not picking this certain collection. You have to be very transparent with them. So I'm going to go towards the questions. So this is going to answer some of the questions that you're asking for, Emily. So after we meet with the family members and so on, let me pull up the screen again. I lost train of thought. I told you I'm like a dog. I'll lose my attention span. Fast forward after booking. Okay. So after that, I meet with them in person. Same idea. The only difference is now I get to find out exactly what the parents like. Where do they envision having their prints on the wall? You're constantly putting that into their heads. I'm like, where do you envision having that? You know, where do you want to showcase your love in your home? I see I don't have any products included with my wedding collections. They get digitals and old products. Okay, so Emily, got it. That makes sense. Digitals. I know it's kind of like, it feels like, even Michael Anthony said it. He said it the best. It's kind of like, once you get the digital files, that's it. There's no room to budge. I get it. Every city is different. But at the end of the day, you're not doing your client justice because you should be really giving them a product. And the hardest part is when you start making this switch, what I'm talking about now, from what you're going to end up losing clients. But if you market yourself well, and if you give them a great experience, they're going to recommend you. And you're going to be making a lot more money. I guarantee you. All right, I guarantee you. Still to this day, I get the question asked. All right, can I get the digital files? Yes. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. If you get it at this collection tier. At the end of the day, I have clients still to this day that they purchase the rights of the files and whatever it is. I think I had one client spend close to just $5,000 on the digital files. They still order prints from me because they saw the difference. Because one day I went to their home, they invited me over for dinner with my wife, and they printed out the images. I think it was, I don't even know where they printed it. It was all blue and it was horrible. So what I did was I took a picture, I found out the measurements, I printed out all those photographs for her, and I gave it to her as a gift. They saw the 180, the difference. And after that, they still ordered to this day the photographs. And I made another $2,600 in sales on top of that because they saw the difference. So if they don't understand the difference, you're not going to sell it. Larry, your question is, what do you mean by market yourself well? So there's a couple of different ways of marketing yourself. All right, people like to market themselves like social media, The Knot, Wedding Wire. They send out promotional pieces in the mail. For me personally, my marketing thing and what I do is create the best experience for my clients. I take care of them for certain sessions, especially during the holidays, even before the holidays. I take care of my discounted rates on certain things. So that's how I market myself. I'm not a big social media person. To be very frank with you, I'm anti-social media. I don't like social media. I know it's crazy, right? So that's how I market myself in that way. So you have to find out what works for you and what you have time for. I did get a social media person this year, so they'll be taking care of it. So your customer experience is word of mouth. Yes, my customer service is 90% of my customer service is word of mouth. So a lot of the clientele I get is, this is one of the things I love about the most about wedding photography, because you have so much access to so many different people. It's insane. All right. So for example, I found out what the bride and groom they do for a living. So majority of my bride and grooms are in the corporate or law firm or medical field. So from there, after I fulfill and give them this great experience on the whole wedding experience, how can they not get me included into their corporate field? Like Will and the team did this and that. They quick turnaround time. This, I'm like, listen, you know, sometimes they go, Will, what can I do to thank you? I'm like, connect me with your clients. You know, how can you get me into your corporate field? Connect me to your event planner from your corporate company. And that's how I start getting a lot of my referrals. So everything I do, it's meant for them to recommend me. Even at venues, I'll shoot some cool stuff. I'm shooting for the client, but I'm also shooting for the location. So if you look at some of my work, a lot of my work is kind of wide angle, you know, capture more the feeling of the location. So I'm shooting for the client, I'm shooting for the wall art, but I'm also shooting for the venue. And from there, when everything's done, I'll customize a book just for them. There's certain shots that I do for every particular job. For one job, it's not multiple jobs. It's one particular job will be in here that's dedicated to a couple of cool bride and groom shots, but still making it more as a wedding book or like a wedding story with the cocktail drinks, with the food, the venue shots. And I'll give it to them, and I'll actually embroider their company logo or the venue logo on there with mine as well. So how can they not show that? Think about it. It might cost you, I don't know, $400, $500, $600. I don't know, whatever discount they're giving you to make that as a sample. But how much more work you're going to be getting out of that? And there's a lot of photographers, educators that speak about that. I think it's very important. That's what we used to do during old school days. Time out. I know I say old school days. I started during the old school days during the film. I shot film. And I saw what my uncle used to do, and also, other high-end studios, and this is what they used to do. So that's the best way of advertising, personally for me. Look at the example when social media went down for that day or so. People were freaking out. So what are you going to do when it actually goes down? Which it probably won't, but think about it. Shaking someone's hand plays a part. How many times are we always on social media or texting, but we're not being in the moment? So playing that part is going to help you get more business. So I take the time to take out my clients or the owners of certain venues. Let's go out to get a bite to eat. I do that, yes. Sometimes they're like, why are you paying the bill? I'm like, I want to take you out. So just taking the time to do that will play a big part. All right, moving forward. All right, any other questions before moving forward? Okay. All right, so let's see. Level ones, all right. Okay. Another thing as well is taking the time to call the best man and maid of honor. I want to get to know who they are and who they are to the bride and groom and who they are to the bride, because every relationship is different. It's no different from doing a family session. Think about mom and dad and the kids. For example, I'm closer to my mom. I'm not closer to my dad. So I act a certain way with my mother and I act a certain way with my father. But I also act a little bit similar in a different way with both of them while they're in the same room. No different from a family session, no different from a wedding session, no different from bride and groom. There's always going to be that crazy bridesmaid that like, let's go party, but she'll act a certain way with the groom because, or vice versa. The best man could be one of those big playboys and wants to get his his best friend in trouble, but he wants to plan this ideal bachelor party. So, but they act a certain way with their group of friends. So it's the same idea. So Larry, let's see the market. Okay, Yvonne, what piece of advice can you give when doing a sale to friends and family? Great question, because that's such a nightmare sometimes. So this is what I do. I just recently did a family, a forever session with my really good friends. And it's always, she laughs, yes. So it's always hard because when it comes to friends and family, they never value what you do. That's what it comes down to. You know, they might brag, yeah, he does this and blah, blah, blah. Still to this day, no matter who I spoke for, no matter who I represent, who I'm sponsored by, no matter what luxury wedding I did, or at the end of the day, no, you know, your family members don't want to pay. That's what it comes out. So when it comes to that, the best way of doing it, all right, great. All right, same exact thing. Love to be part of your event, love to be part of your session, but if you want me to do it, you know, I personally believe you deserve to have the experience. So let me give you the experience that I give to all my clients. That is it. They'll probably say, oh, don't worry about it. No. If I'm gonna do it, let's do it the right way. If not, I'd rather not do it, because I think you deserve to have the experience. And from there, that's it. Then when it comes down to pricing, give them a gift certificate. All right. So the gift certificate will be for, I don't know, about what kind of, you do portraiture, it doesn't matter. So let's say your portrait session is, let's say, I don't know, $3,000, and you want to give them to them for cost. Do not tell them what the cost factor is. Family portrait is perfect. If you follow Michelle Salentano, she's a great person to learn from that, because she's actually one of my good friends. She's at EOL from Cadena, USA. I just went to Arizona to learn from her how to be a better family portrait photographer. She said the same thing. Give a gift certificate. You know, let's say it's $3,000 portrait session. Say, listen, a gift certificate will be $2,000 off your session or your products, whatever it is. Now they know what they're paying for. Like, oh wow, I just got a $3,000 session for $1,000. I'm like, but you do not tell them this is your cost factor, because realistically, you got to factor in your cost. Because now, yeah, just pay for cost. And my cost factor is $1,000. I'm like, okay, so they're never gonna value that. So give them a gift certificate. Does that make sense or not? This flickering light is killing me. Okay, cool, awesome. Again, you can always reach out to me if I have some downtime. I'll get back to you on social media, which I'm really on there. So, but Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp is the best way to reach me. All right, so now going back to, let's see. All right, so once you speak to the best man and maid of honor, it's the same idea. You want to get to know who they are as individuals. Also, if you have a liking towards them, take care of them. Like, listen, you seem like you're down to it. I would love to, do a family session for you. After all this, once you get to know the family members and so on, once you get to the wedding, all right, where there's a question, we tell our family that they are getting the products for cost, but we make sure every cost is included. So realistically, they're getting a large discount, but everything's covered and you get a small amount for our time. Okay, that's cool. That's a good way of doing it. So again, everyone has a different preference on what to do things. For me, I was telling Dave, I hate when people take advantage and they always like to use, they have no money for this, no money for that, but next thing you know, they're driving like a brand new, Mercedes. Or everyone has excuses for something. So they have to value, and the best way to show value is showing them exactly what you do for people and what you're taking care of them as a gift certificate. It seems like that has been working out better for me, especially when it comes to my friends, my close family friends. So I just did recently a photo shoot, and I did the same thing with my friend, and he's like, holy shit, you charge that much? I'm like, yeah, this is what I do for a living. I'm like, I didn't know photographs are that expensive, but this is before I went through the family experience. Through the experience, and when I went through the experience, after everything's said and done, he's like, dude, honestly, you should be charging more for the session. And not even the session, but for the overall experience. And from there, because of that, he actually recommended me to other people that are willing to spend the money. So taking that time plays a very big part, okay? All right, so right before the wedding, usually about 4 to 6 months before the wedding, I usually have clients that book us anywhere between a year to maybe 3 years out. I know it sounds crazy, but again, this is when you become that family photographer. I was telling Dave and Michelle, I don't want to be known as a wedding photographer. I want to be known as the family photographer, because anytime when they need services for wedding or video, they're always think about us, and that's the most important thing. So sometimes we have clients, when my daughter turns this age, you're photographing the event. And sometimes the daughters are like, yeah, you've done an amazing event. You've done your, like I already did the daughter's bar mitzvah. She had a 316, which is crazy. And now her wedding is actually in 2 years. They booked me for the wedding in 2 years. It's crazy. So she's gonna be now what, 23, 24 at that time. So think about it. So creating that customer service plays a very big part. Okay, so where was I again? Okay, so 4 to 6 months before, 4 to 5 months before the wedding, we send them an incentive. All right. During this time frame, when we call them back and forth, grandma gave them like a cute little pendant, or a family member gave them this amazing piece of art. I'm like, that'll be amazing to capture that for your spread of your album. I'm like, oh my God, that'll look phenomenal in one of your pages of your book. So you're constantly bringing up the product, but not really selling the product, if that makes any sense. And when you tell them, they're like, oh my God, that's so exciting. And 9 out of 10 times, when I say 9 out of 10 times, they always want it. They're like, oh my God, yes, we want it. So now they're predicting. I'm like, all right, my God, that's going to be maybe on your 4th or 3rd spread of your book, even though you got 20 or 30 spreads already in your collection. So now they're envisioning, oh, wow, my book is getting bigger. So you're constantly bringing this up to them, all right? So from the incentive, which I think I gave an example, this is actually our older pricing. We raised up the pricing a little bit more. Where is it? Okay, let me share this. Okay. For the incentive, as you guys can see over here, and guys, again, this is our pricing for what we do for our clients. You could adjust it however you wish for you guys. Again, I'm considered more as a boutique studio. I don't do 100, I don't do 200 weddings a year. That's not our style. Personally, myself, I only do 12 weddings a year, and that's it. And my other team does another 16 or 17 a year, and that is it. I personally, because I do a lot of corporate and commercial work during the week, so I'm happy with this. So incentive, give your clients an option to upgrade 4 to 5 months before the big day. Additional 20 pages for $31.29 for only $1,900. It expires within 48 hours once we send this out. Okay, so what does that mean? Stop sharing. What does that mean? It pretty much says, hey, listen, your book is getting bigger. We already told you. It's an incentive. We told you several times your book is getting bigger. It's an incentive for you to get, more pages for your album and so on and so on. And it's going to save you money. That's what it comes down to, right? Where do you find your higher income clients and how do you engage them? Russell. As I stated, I got into the circle of financial district. Again, I live in New York City. I like to dress really nice. I like to socialize. I like to go to networking events. I don't go to networking events for photographers. I just don't do that because it just doesn't work. I don't go to the knot. The last time I promoted the knot and the wedding wire was maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago. And it's never been for me. So I'll stay in contact with real estate agents. I stay in contact with, again, find out what your clients do for a living. And you know exactly what they do. So I'm sure one of you guys out there have like a lawyer or a doctor or like a dance teacher. A dance teacher is awesome because dance teacher could lead into so many great avenues for it. How my mentality, how I work, I want to find out what they do. All right. I just literally, how I got into my clientele is, for example, Douglas Elliman is one of my clients as well. My direct clients I deal with in New York and Miami as well. They were one of the board members was actually one of my wedding clients, and I found out later on that she was part of the board. And I was like, listen, I would love to do your headshot. I saw your headshot. I would love to update it for you. I'll come to you. We'll bring everything to you, and the session fee will be on me. And she's like, really? Oh my God, because she stated like, she didn't want to go to someone's studio, so this is why I became more a location photographer. I bring the studio to them because these people don't have time. So we came in there, we set everything up. She came in, literally less than 2 minutes, bam, 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 we're done, bye. Because of that, she was really happy with what we did, and one of her colleagues saw that, and that's how I got into more of the headshot sessions, and that's how they started recommending me. So find out how you could help them. Realistically, if someone needs a headshot, they look like crap. But listen, just come in. Let me just take care of you. You need it. Just again, you gotta have that personality, but you need it. And that's another way for them to recommend you. So that's how I started getting more of my clientele in that way. There's many different avenues, but again, you have to do it with integrity. If you make it known there's an agenda behind what you do, you're not gonna get the client. I'm sure that everyone has that one friend that comes to you and like they call you out of spur of the moment, like, hey, listen, hey, I got this event. Can you come and bring your camera? And that's an agenda behind it, realistic. So think about that. How does that make you feel? If that makes you feel like crap, it makes you feel taken advantage, think about how you treat your clients. Because if you're treating your client that way, this is why you're not getting the referrals. Just look yourself in the mirror. It's the same exact thing. So I preach what I teach, or I preach what I do, or whatever it is. Michelle, help me out. I'm a little special there. All right, moving forward. So once I give the incentives on the pages and the spreads, I say maybe 6 out of 10 times they're upgrading. Yes, 6 out of 10 times. And the reason why I know these numbers very well, you need to know your numbers. Michael Anthony knows his numbers very well. And that's one of the things I love about him and his work is he knows his shit, which is great. So you need to know your numbers. You need to know what's your cost factor. You need to know, how much money is going on taxes. You need to know. All this stuff is really, really important to run a full business. Okay, moving forward. So let me go back to this thing. Michelle, there has to be a faster way of doing this, or I'm just special right now. Okay, all right, so let's go. Incentives. All right, so now wedding date. The best part about going to the wedding day, I actually get excited to shoot someone's wedding these days. And the reason why is like you get on the job and they know who you are. Not just the bride and groom, not just the bride, the bridesmaids. The bridesmaids, they already know who you are because you already spoke to a few of them. The parents, the cousins already know who they are because they're already speaking so highly about you. All right, you hung out with them, and it just makes the day so much easier. And you already know what to capture. You already know what to look for. They're treating you like family. They're not treating you like the higher help. All right, that's the worst thing. I used to hate being considered as the higher help. When I used to work a lot at the Plaza Hotel, it was always like that. Like, everyone used to get fed and everyone got a drink, but we were working our butts off, but we never got taken care of. Doesn't mean I go to work, I expect to get fed. Our team is not like that. We always carry a little bit of lunch and dinner with us anyway. So we never expect to get fed because realistically, my team and I should not be sitting down at all. We should be working and capturing the moments. And if we're not doing that, building relationships. As I stated before, building relationships is key. So it doesn't matter who it is. Let me go back. Right? It doesn't matter who it is. You're at the venue. Besides the guest, build a relationship. But also, even the vendors, even not the vendors, but even the waiters. I actually got jobs. Crazy. Got jobs from. Oh my God, help me out, Michelle. What's it called? The bathroom attendant. I got jobs from the bathroom attendant, which is crazy. I mean, and they were like really, I expect to get fed up. Let's see, where do you find Russell cool? Russell, I accept to get, oh, you accept to get fed. Damn, man. All right, good for you. Well, that's cool. Everyone has their own criteria. So it's, again, there's always, if you're nice to people, it goes a long way. Like Dave said, it's all about building relationships for me. That plays a very big part. Okay, moving forward. How long we go? An hour in already. Okay, cool. Okay, here's another thing. During the events, I always, if I can, I say about 80% of the time, I'll do an easy slideshow of the day. All right, so this means like in camera. Okay, this is where your fundamentals, basis of photography, shoot clean in camera, export it, and I put it on the screens, or I like to bring my own projector and also my own screen to showcase the photographs. And that's always usually right after dinner. I usually tell the clients beforehand, before I even do it, because sometimes I don't have time or my team doesn't have time. I do have an option for this for the last 2 years that a client could purchase this. But depending, if the client says, you know what, we can't really afford it, I'm like, okay, I understand. Usually the day up, if they've been amazing from the beginning, I usually just put it in there, because think about it, the easy promotion from that, you get it. And majority of the time they just get up and they're just all emotional and they're beyond happy. Okay, so after the wedding. All right, after the wedding. All right. So how many of you guys, what is your turnaround time on delivering your products? Just curious. I mean, let me rephrase that. What is the fastest turnaround time on delivering the photographs to be seen by your clients? Ready, set, go. Chad and Megan, I love it. I'm loving you guys. Where are you guys from again? Yeah, 2 or 4 weeks, 2 weeks, Gary. Ah, cool. I'm loving the numbers right now. Okay, cool. 1 or 2 weeks. Cool. Outside movie. Oh, nice. All right, cool. I might be going there in a few months. I'll let you guys know. Hopefully we can meet up. Be awesome. All right, cool. So the numbers I'm seeing here are awesome. 1 or 2 weeks. It's great. It's a great thing to hear. I mean, there's a lot of studios out there that are spending 6, 8, 10. The longest I heard was 16 weeks. That's insane. If you're spending that much time, if you're spending more than 4 weeks, it should be really more than 3 weeks of production on basis of color correcting and contrast and whatever it is, you should be outsourcing your work. Think about the amount of time that you're spending in front of that computer. Clock yourself. It's really simple. Clock yourself how much time you're spending in front of that computer that you could be easily spending time marketing your company, or like what Russell said, meeting with clients or whatever, or going to venues, or most importantly, spending time with your family. That's the key factor. All right. And this is how I ended up getting burnt out, because I was always on the computer, whether I was at the studio, whether I was on location, whether I'm always in front of the computer, which was horrible. It's no different from being on the phone. It's the same idea. So Michelle and building, thanks Michelle, and building relationships. So 4 to 6, but always try to deliver it. Okay, so yeah, so do I usually tell my clients? I usually tell my clients 3 weeks, max, but usually it's 2 weeks anyway. Realistically, if the job was on Sunday, my photographs, everything is already done by Tuesday. I know it sounds insane, but I have a certain way of shooting. For myself, I give my client, I let them see anywhere between 5 to maybe 600 photographs during the whole event. That is it. I don't shoot 3,000 images. That's not my style. The certain shots I look for, I shoot for the album. My clients know that beforehand, so they know what they're getting. So there's certain studios out there that shoot that. That's cool. Another question might pop up, but Will, how do you get away with 500, 600 images? I'm like, I tell my clients really simply, I'm like, obviously I was recommended. I'd rather give you 500 great images instead of 3,000, 4,000 okay images. You tell me, what would you prefer? And I'll sit there and I'll let them answer. And majority of the time, they're like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm like, we trust you, okay, cool. If we feel like, we need to capture more, or there's certain shots that's needed, yeah, we're going to capture it. But I'd rather let them know that's probably like the minimum or so. But I think the max would probably let a client see it was close to 800 images, photographs. I hate using images, photographs. So you have an idea. So fast turnaround time plays a really big part. The reason why it's a fast turnaround time, if the wedding was on Sunday, we meet literally 2 weeks after. So we figure like during business hours around Tuesday, because we close on Mondays, we meet. Majority of the time we meet at their homes. And the reason why we do that is because it's a control environment. But Will, you have a studio, it's a control environment too. Yes, it is. I'm not saying it, this is the right way or the wrong way. This is what I've been doing with my clients. The reason why I do that is because I also bring a projector screen. I project that wall art onto their wall. So I'll show them their album. I'll show them their wall art. The wall art, again, is big prints like that, big ones over there. So there's one thing when you show it on a screen, and there's another thing you show it on a TV screen or on your laptop. They can't really envision it if it's not on the wall. So proven, 8 out of 10 times clients always get the wall art guaranteed right then and there, because they get to actually visually see it. Do you need like an HD quality? Hold on, don't move. Do you need? I'm girlfriend. Yeah. I was trying to like this all pretty. It didn't work out too well. Don't tell Wes guy. All right, so this is actually my portable projector screen. Projector. Okay, so it gives me enough power that I could definitely light up all. Literally, I think it's almost 100 inches to, I don't know, I think 80. So it gives me enough projector power, so you could project that into a wall. And it's a great thing. And again, it doesn't have to be sharp. And the reason why I don't care about H4K projector, what brand is it? Sorry. Go on Amazon. There's a new one that came out. It's actually 2 times more powerful. It's awesome. Look, that's one. It's like a baby. So it's cool. So, and if you're Android, it's awesome. Also iPhone. It doesn't have to be sharp. When anything that's sharp, people start looking for imperfections in the photographs. So I don't really care. This is why it could be 1080p. It doesn't have to be HD, or it could be 720. It doesn't really matter because they're just seeing it from distance. All right, so just keep that in mind. From there, once they see everything, album, wall art, from there, they actually get to approve the album if it's going to be ready to go for print. Because the album is pre-designed before they even see anything. And the reason why we do that is, one, to save a lot of headaches back and forth, which is, I'm sure you guys might get that, maybe not. And maybe once in a blue, I have a client they'll switch out maybe a family portrait in there. Other than that, they'd never really switch anything out. Like this book over here, it was literally, got a design. The family is not even from New York, they're from Florida, or now they live in Florida, they were from California. After I shot it, I designed it, the whole 9 yards, and I designed it the whole 9 yards. Really simple, nothing crazy. It looks blown out on the screen. It's not blown out, but so really, really simple stuff. Well, how big is the court? Yeah, it's like a mini wedding. There's a Grace Gatsby feel. They have humongous wall art prints at their home. So, designed this from scratch. I sent her, I think we did a Zoom video on there. I showed her the book, a quick slideshow. She's like, I love it, done. And she didn't even bet on, I gave her the price, she's like, it's done. I was like, okay, perfect, and that was it. Do you give so many album changes in your contract, then change each edition? Okay, so the question was, do I give a lot of options to change the album? Each state's pretty much an agreement that says you only allow, I think it's up to 2 or 3 changes for the spread. If they do is like additional, I think $125 per page or whatever. I'm telling you right now, if they do, they probably change 1 or 2 pages. And honestly, at that point, I'm not going to charge them that. It's realistically, and I just tell them, listen, if they're going to making more changes, and that never comes up, but if they do, I just tell them, listen, I'll tell my assistant, give them an invoice, let them know how much it is, discounted, gift certificate on there that shows, you guys it says you've been amazing and we adore you guys. It's on us. And we leave that as this because they always remember that. Like, oh my God, like that was really sweet. So taking that time. So can you make another $200, $300, $400 more? Yes, but I'd rather take that $400 or gift it to them if they're worthy of it, because I know they're gonna recommend. Because that $400 is gonna get me more business. That $400 I could easily throw it away, meaning put it towards social media marketing. I'd rather have 90% word of referral than all these magazines out there. That works for me. All right. Michelle, you still there? I'm still going, huh? All right. Michelle's like, oh my God. Yeah, guys, give it up for Michelle. Michelle's so sick from imaging. I mean, she was sick, sick, like she has virus. She shouldn't be out today. But give her a round of applause because she's out here. She's doing this for you guys. David's doing this for you guys. David is actually getting sick because of her. So, yeah, Michelle is the best. I met her last year in Shutterfest, and it's been really an honor working with them. And they do listen to their customers, which I love. Again, I don't promote companies I don't work with companies if I don't believe in the product or what they're selling. So, because at the end of the day, it's all of your word. So, all right. So, like Larry said thanks, and cool. All right. So moving forward, for the last thing, there was one more thing, guys. I think almost there. We're almost there. All right. So slideshow, then they approve. Okay. So after they approve their album, and also we go through all the photographs of the event. Then they also have to approve their wall art. This is where a lot of the profit comes in as well. When you sell wall art, we get to project it on the walls, which is great. They can visually see it. And from there, we also pick out their thank you cards, any kind of messages and stuff like that. Everything's done right then and there. The next day, everything goes out. We tell the clients the next day, everything goes sent out. And they usually have their products within 3 weeks or less, which is great. Okay. All right. Did that stop? Okay, just stop. So they usually get the stuff within 3 weeks or less. I think these days we're saying 4 weeks because of the holidays and stuff like that. But usually, the company that I use for a lot of my stuff, we usually get the stuff within 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks. So, and that's really it. That's more on my format, guys. It's again more. It's all about building relationships. There's people out there that sell very hard, and I've never been about that. I always been really shy about pricing things or letting people know what I charge. Because when I used to give out pricing, I was like, well, yeah, you don't really have to go to that collection because I know it's a little high. And then these days, it's kind of like I'm very confident in what we do. I know the experience that we give. So, and it's okay when a client can't afford it. When they can't afford it, we try to work with them and see what we could do and substitute certain things. But we never like to lower our collections or our pricing, because when you start doing that, you start devaluing yourself, and that's the worst thing you want to do. Have I done it before? Yes, and I did see that, and I saw the customers that I got. I forgot the saying, and I think once you give Michelle, help me out if you know the saying. You give a little string, they take everything from you. I don't know, it's the same. You give too much, they just start taking and taking and taking. Usually when clients can't afford us or we're not the right fit, I usually just recommend them to another studio that I know that might fulfill their needs. And I think that's very important because, yes, the industry is big, but it's also very small. And I think these days, I recommend more clients to my peers than anything else, because it just, one is the right thing to do, and two is like, why not? Why not give them someone that might fulfill their vision a lot better? So I think that's a key factor. And from there, I actually had clients I never booked. They recommended their friends to us because they could afford it. So just keep that in mind. Treat everyone the same. Be humble about it. So yeah, do you guys have any questions for me? It's a different way of selling. This is more of my selling. It's not really a tactic. It's more, I like to treat people with, dignity and respect, and that's how we run our business. Michelle, Dave, any questions? I don't know.
Thank you very much, Will. This was very helpful and get people a different way to sell. Just a couple observations. Early on, you talked about the groom who you got to know him really well, and there's a shot that you showed where he prayed every day. And what I kind of took away from that is you can use all the conversation where you unearth some of these things about people to really better tell the story of that day in your albums, which really makes it much more meaningful for them.
Correct. So a lot of the albums, how we design is really, really simple. Maybe 2 or 3 photographs during the whole spread. And there's studios out there like to throw a lot of photographs. That's not saying that's the right or wrong way. How we do things is I kind of give the client, I really want to tell a story. I want it to be like, wow. So do we also offer our clients different options? Like, hey, you know what? This is dedicated more for you guys. Then we could create a different volume with a lot more image photographs. Yes, we do that as well. It's a different way of upselling the client. So I say about I think 10 out of 10 times after the event, we upsell them more. They end up upgrading a lot more because we customize certain things for them, and they just love it. So, they're buying a blind product. You guys got to keep that in mind. They're buying a blind product. That's what it is. They might see an individual in the shot, but it's not them. All right, it's not them. But when they actually see themselves, now they build that. They have a connection with that emotion behind it. So we're selling emotion. That's what it comes down to. So I think we forget that as photographers, and I'm sorry, not photographers, artists. We're artists. That's what we are. So it's not about the gear and your format. This is what we do. You know, we bring extra assistants. We set up a double light here. Clients don't give a shit. I'm sorry. There's very few that do, but realistically, they don't. The only thing they care about is their day. This is the most important day of their lives. Think about it. They're spending all this money, even for our wedding. My wife and I, we paid for our own wedding. You know, we had the luxury of having mom and dad take care of our bill. It wasn't like that. I come from a very poor family, and you know, we work hard to have what we have, and we invested in it. But the money that we spent, even though we were taken care of, I'm like, wow, it blows my mind, the money that went out the door. But I don't regret one thing about it, because everyone that we wanted there was worth it. And I still take that in consideration. I'm like, I want to make sure the client that brings us in, that literally took out a loan. I had a client that took out a loan, all right, to hire our studio to be there. The money that she spent on us was more money that they spent on the venue. I know it blows my mind about that. It's like there's certain clients I had that they spend $250,000 just on flowers alone for their wedding, and we have clients that literally they got married at a bar and some other stuff, and they're willing to take out a loan just to have us there for the basic package or collection. So take that consideration, you know. So I don't try to judge people when they come to the office or when they contact us. You never know who is willing to spend money. You never know who a person is. You never know what they went through. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. I mean, I feel like I'm talking old passion right now.
You know, well, you do such a great job of building relationships with your clients and telling such a story of their day that really you don't have to talk about money. It sells itself and you sell yourself. So I think you did a great job of displaying that in this webinar. So we appreciate you very, very much.
No, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone that's, you know, from Phoenix. I mean, we got people everywhere. It's such an honor. Thank you for so much for taking the time today to, you know, to apply some of this stuff to your workflow. And if you don't, it's something to learn. I mean, you know, there's always something to learn. You know, maybe maybe this presentation was horrible. I'm like, I would never do that. But you learn something from it, not to do that. So even when I take workshops, even though, you know, I'm part of the Westcott team for lighting, like, there's always something to learn, and there's so many things I learn. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be doing it that way. Maybe I shouldn't like that way, but there's always something to learn in some way or another. So as long as we're open-minded and willing to help each other, the sky's the limit. I think we forget that these days. So there's no secrets. Anything that's out there, it's already been done. The question is, how can you tweak it to make it more unique?
Yeah,
so,
to make it authentic for you, exactly.
Exactly. So, but yeah.
Yeah, and as we wrap up, there's one question I see on here that Chad and Megan asked that if you don't mind, I'm going to put in a shameless plug-in for Enview. You say, what do you do when you don't have a light-colored wall or don't have a wall to project on? And just a reminder, within the MG product, we not only have Real View, where you can project wall art in real size, we also have Room View that allows you to upload their room and you can show it in actual size there. So we built that into the product. So
yeah.
If you've not tried it, give it a shot. We've got it in our IPS sessions and our client galleries, because we believe it's important to sell something more than just an 8x10.
So guys, yeah, hell yeah. I mean, don't even bother with the 8x10s. It's really, it doesn't do it justice, especially when you have an 8x10 and you have like a, you know, a 40x60. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I'm gonna be very transparent with you guys. I've been using more Enview. There's so many cool features, and I'm really digging it, because sometimes I don't like to jump back and forth with different features or different programs. There's no such perfect system out there. I use what's needed. But I do like the fact that it has those options that you can project it, which is really, really cool. So take advantage of that. See if it works for you. You know, I'm sure. It's really simple to use it. I tested it out. Was it 2 weeks ago? It's really simple to set up. So I think Michael Anthony went over that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, really cool stuff, man. So
yeah. Well, thank you again, Will. We really love the karma that you gave us today and how to do this. Great perspective.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy, rock out, be open-minded, and, you know, make your clients happy. That's it.
Here's
how to make your wives and husbands happy. Make them happy. Same thing.
Here's to a great 2020 for everybody.
It's one.
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys.
All right.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.